Welcome in, everybody. This is Kyle Nash doing the game with the Duval Dive here, and also a Fans First Sports Network.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
Travis, I know we're doing this thing here on the Believe Podcast Network, but I think I'm realizing why I keep changing up what's going on when we get off the bat here these past few podcasts. Not just, for the Duval Dive, but for our Duval Dive Live, but our Wednesday stream as well. And I think it's connected to the fact that I see Brenton Strange in the intro, and I think I get CTE just watching some of those blocks. That's why I've been getting the intro wrong. I've got it figured out, man. No, but I come in off the top rope with that because, listen, as we preview this upcoming AFC South first of the year matchup with the Houston Texans, man, listen, I know I'm probably way early to bring it up in the show, but I know you got your top keys to it. And my man, you come right off the top rope saying, run to rock. I don't know if you're going, full, what is it? I don't know if you're going full.
If you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't going to be able to take that over and over and over and over and over again. They're just not going to want that.
I think there's a deeper metaphor there.
Run through a motherfucking face.
I don't know if you're going that level, but I'm sure you'd enjoy to see it if that's what happened.
I mean, it's the biggest talking point in Duval County right now. I mean, it's been the biggest talking point since the loss to the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. So obviously, did they run the ball enough? Should they have run the ball 60 times? Whatever the thing is, that's been the conversation because of the turnovers in the passing game. So I get it. But as we discussed on Wednesdays, Duval Dive, Jacksonville leads the league with the lowest percentage of run stuffs in the first 2 weeks of the season. Those boys up front are getting it done.
By the way, as a side note, I know I'm cutting you off, but I feel like you mentioned this to the box score watchers of the world out there too. Let's not act like the run game hasn't been augmented by the screen game. Folks, that's the kind of crap, bubble screens in general, that made Thomas Edward, Patrick Bieber, Brady famous when everybody trying to act like he did it all six Super Bowls himself. No, stop that. That defense did part of that. They'll tell you that for a front because most of the run game wasn't a run game. It was a screen game, an extended handoff that traveled through the air. And there's elements to that with Lee and Coen's offense as well. So for those that see, we threw the ball 42 times. How many of those was runs in the form of a screen? Can we have that combo? We ain't talking about that enough.
Or how many of those were just canned runs that were canned passes that were called passes in the huddle, and then they came to the line of scrimmage and then ran the ball, or vice versa. They were called runs, and then they came to the line and made them passing plays. Like, this is a part of this offense.
Yeah,
right. This has been a part of this offense that we've talked about. That CJ Stroud's going through the same thing in Houston because they have, again, another guy from the Sean McVay tree calling plays there. That gives them that option to kind of make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage. So sometimes you're going to fall a little bit out of whack just because that's what the defense is showing you up front. So I'm with you there. And I also think it's a real interesting little phenomenon that's going on right now because of the drive within the analytics community, between the drive within the fantasy football community, that everybody's giving Bayshaw Tootin all these flowers, and it's absolutely deserved because the dude has been balling out of his mind. But the dude's getting more attention than the guy who's second in the NFL right now in rushing yardage, and Travis Etienne. And like nobody, it's the quietest achievement that I can realize recently. Like, a Jacksonville Jaguar running back is second in the NFL in rushing right now, and no people are tripping over their own feet to talk about the fact that, hey, Bayshaw Tootin he's arriving, he's gonna take the backfield from Travis Etienne. And it's like, dude, Jonathan Taylor is first in the league in rushing. Travis Etienne is second, and he's beating Derrick Henry, the great Derrick Henry, by 18 yards. Like, that's wild, man. Like, I think we got to calm down in that little fantasy community because we like the new guys. But Travis Etienne is balling, bro.
I mean, one might even say you're mega surprised about how little we're talking about it. I'm just gonna throw that. Hey, listen, Bucky Brooks even likes mega. I get it. And listen,
yeah, but no. It's dope though, but I get it. But like I said earlier, the boys up front are getting it done. But I want to give not just Travis Etienne his flowers. I want to get that O-line. I want to get them big boys up front their flowers, because only 3 NFL running backs have gained positive yards on more than 90% of their rush attempts in 2025. You want to know the three?
Please.
Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, who we already mentioned, who's leading the league in rushing, and Travis Etienne. But that's not the headline. I promise you. That ain't the point. Pollard averages 1.4 yards before contact. Jonathan Taylor averages 1.9 yards per contact, and Travis Etienne is averaging freaking 3.4 yards before contact on his rushes. When I say they getting it done, them big boys getting it done. That's what I mean.
Chills, actual chills, Travis D. Holmes. Oh my gosh. I'm not even a fan of this team. That's just a good stat. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah,
a little show don't tell. So like, it's not about Travis Etienne. It's not about Bashaw Tootin. It's about both of them. And you just mentioned that screen game being an extension of the run.
Yeah.
There you go. You got Bashaw Tootin catching the ball in space and getting the touchdown. Oh, then you got Travis Etienne catching the ball and getting a touchdown in space. It's weird how this works out that both of these guys can catch the ball and get in space and get touchdowns. Maybe that's why they traded Tank Bixby away, because he probably couldn't catch the ball. Maybe that's part of that conversation. So it's just, hey man, that's not trying to throw smoke at the guy. That's just being honest about what it is. Like, so this is not a Travis Etienne or Bashaw Tootin conversation. This is a Travis Etienne and Bashaw Tootin conversation. This is not either. I never understand this. So, and for those who listen to it on the audio, that is a picture up of Freddie T and MJD together, because we cannot forget we have a guy in our front office who is leading our front office in the Tony Baselli. And do you remember? Yeah, he remembers those times, and we're bringing 1999 back. I need y'all to understand this, man. This is what it is.
I wasn't ready for the conversation to take this turn, and also as you're bringing all that up, I'm trying to keep up because I'm trying to calculate how far Trevor Lawrence had to reach on those two handoffs for those running touchdowns. Wait, what? Oh, those were screens. Yeah, my bad.
They counted as screens because technically they were 1 yard ahead of him instead of being 1 yard behind, and then they would have counted as runs, and folks would have been like, "Oh yeah, he ran just enough." It's weird how math and angles work.
Those box score watchers. Yes. By the way,
oh gosh,
I said what I said, Travis D. Holmes. But hey, listen, both guys getting their first touchdown of 2025 last week in the form of that ground attack via screen. Yeah, no, I feel like that's the key here there too. And I'll say this. I believe, and you could correct me where you think I'm wrong on this with the Houston Texans, but I believe the forte of their defense is their secondary. Not that their defensive front is bad per se, but I don't think they're necessarily famous for stopping the run. Do you?
No, they are not famous in any way for stopping the run. Like, Houston is coming off a rough day against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. So, like, it should be noted, to be clear, the Texans did hold the Rams running back Kyron Williams to 3.7 yards a carry in week 1, but in week 2, Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White went off. Like, they put up 4.2 yards. Bucky Irvin put up 4.2 yards a carry. Rachaad White put up 6.5 yards a carry. So they're coming up into this game giving up nearly 170 yards on the ground. It's like 169, which is 5.6 yards a carry on Monday. And Bucky Irving also had a 50 yards in receiving too. Like, they kept just killing them with those screen passes that you just mentioned. So, like, the blueprint is there. Feed Etienne, feed Tootin, beat LeQuint in every way. That's the game plan. Just do it.
Widen it out with that screen game, and then when Hines-Allen comes in on a third down and then runs through the middle because the defensive front is spread so much, having to try to cover laterally. Hines-Allen, by the way, I know he probably doesn't have enough carries to qualify for any of the stats that you dropped, but dude's been handling business with great protection. I think I've only seen him miss one protect so far this year, and he's made 2 big third downs this season already that I could think of off the top of my head. So
no, I think I'm in agreement with you. Like, LeQuint's balling. Also, he's balling in his limited snaps, but that's what you need from your 7th round draft pick. Just to, hey man, carve out a role and succeed whenever you have those opportunities. Cool, here for it.
If you all didn't figure out something was different when my favorite draft pick, other than Travis Hunter, was an ACC guy, that should have told you everything you needed to know, Duval. I'm just throwing it out there. Winning the turnover battle. Travis, I know people are going to say that this is cliched. This is easy. Of course, you always win the turnover battle, but let's be honest. I feel like in this one, it means a little extra, especially when you remember the first matchup, the one at Everbank against the Texans last year. Good golly, Miss Molly, that got out of control fast because of turnovers.
Mm-hmm. And Houston had 2 turnovers in week 1 versus the Rams. They end up they end up losing that game by 5 points. It was 14-9, I believe.
It was barely 20 points combined, a low-scoring affair.
Yeah. They the Texans they had a fumble and an interception, and they played really clean in week 2, like no turnovers for either side. So the Rams won the turnover battle 2-1 in week 1, and neither Houston nor Tampa turned the ball over in week 2. So both games ended up being really, really, really close game. Like again, week 2's game for the Houston Texans ended up being a one possession matchup, a 1-point game. So both games 1 possession. The second game is a 1-point game. Obviously, that means this is not going to be the layup that you want it to be, even though you may not like the Houston Texans. I understand Duval, I get it, but they are a difficult matchup, as they have always historically been a difficult matchup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that what that means is, hey man, Trevor, no YOLO balls, bro. No YOLO balls. No crazy. No impromptu Hail Mary attempts with 20-something seconds left in a half, bro. Like none of that. Etienne and Tootin, hold on to the rock. Same thing for you, Parker Washington, in the return game. Because overall, at the end of all of this, man, if you include turnovers on downs, like I do, then on the season, Jacksonville is 1-0 when they win the turnover battle, and they're 0-1 when they tie or they lose it. Protect the rock. That's the game. That's the game right here. If you don't turn the ball over, or if you win that turnover battle, you're more likely than not to win this game. And I can say that for any game, but this game is going to be won on the margins, and that's the biggest mover of the margins for me.
Yeah, I agree. I might be spoiling a wee bit what my prediction is going to look like at the end of the episode, but guys, listen, you remember in the off season, I was talking about last week was going to be bet the over, bet the over, bet the over. Good God. I Ron Jeremy'd that one, which is to say I nailed it. So with this upcoming week, I'm actually glad it's at the end of the episode because I'm still thinking about how my prediction's going to go, but it damn sure won't be anything where I'm expecting, 60 something combined points. I'll tell you that.
I got you. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be. But on our next key to victory, you got to make CJ Stroud see ghost. And I know, you got to sack the other quarterback. Sure. No. You don't understand. You got to make this man see ghosts. This is a little bit different. So if you watch the Monday Night Football game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how often they blitz 5 and 6 guys by showing 7 defenders up at the line of scrimmage, and how badly it confused the Houston Texans offensive line and running back protection. Like running back Duuuval, I always mess his last name up. Former Jacksonville Jaguar running back got ran over. And then later in the game, you got CJ Stroud just throwing the ball directly into the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker because he's been hit so many times. He's just trying to get the ball out of his hands. Like, make CJ see ghosts. Make him not understand where the blitz is coming from. Make him not understand where his protection is actually going to be on those plays. And he's going to hand the ball to you. He's going to be like, here, take it, please. Just don't hit me. Like, that is where we are. Yeah, just stop. Please, no, he's dead already. Like, it's that. So make them Houston Texans make them pay for not investing in the O-line and bringing in extra guys. You got to bring extra guys early and often. Tampa sacked them 3 times, with only 1 sack actually coming courtesy of a defensive lineman or edge. They brought extra linebackers and extra safeties, and literally the exact same scenario happened against LA in week 1.
And by the way, for those out there keeping score at home who's been watching Coach Campanelli do his thing, man, he plays a lot of those same games an awful lot. I think that's something that will confuse the bejesus out of one CJ Stroud. But I'm going to bring this in here too. I'm going to go a little off script and change the order of some things. Last week, you had a hell of a short, by the way, that came out on our socials about me matching you with what I thought the X factor of the game was going to be, stepping into your house after you mentioned the trenches. Today, I'm going straight trench warfare. It's something that was alluded to loosely last week, but I'm going to double down on this week. It's one thing to beat up the Cincinnati Bengal offensive line. It's another. Well, I'm not saying the Houston Texan offensive line is great. It's not Bengals bad is what I'm saying. Punchline is this. I need more Eric Armstead.
Ooh,
Okay.
Eric
I said
Armstead
what
is
I
your
said.
X factor.
That's right. I said what I said about the outsides and the edges. They didn't meet the quota. The Jags lost the game. Just throwing it out there. Not to mention the other X factor that we combined on also was one that did not go the Jaguars' way, and thus the game was also lost there. But in this case, I need a scenario where you mention run the rock. Follow on to Fatukasi can't change this game by stopping a 4th and short. Okay, that's one. Two, the opposite needs to happen, meaning the Jags need to impose their will up front, not just collapsing the pocket right in CJ Stroud's face, but to stop the run game categorically, to force CJ Stroud to and the Texans to be one-dimensional so those ghosts can appear, and Egon Spangler won't even be able to save you. That's a Ghostbusters reference there, Travis. I can go with, I can mention Winston and Ernie Hudson if that makes you feel better. That dude looks better than me at a 79 as a 79-year-old. It's insane. I'm so self-conscious about that.
I don't know these people. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just like, all right, cool.
Well, if you need a reference, who you gonna call? I got you right here. So you got
I
that.
got you. All right, there we go. There we go. I got that one. All right, cool. No, but
I know who Ernie Hudson is.
Man, I know people by face. I don't know by that's how faces work. I don't know names. All right, cool. But your biggest X factor is Eric Armstead, and I can't disagree with that, man. Especially against this O line, especially the weaker interior O line for that matter. My X factor for Sunday is Texans defensive end Danielle Hunter. Like, I mean, with Walker Little, nearly surrendering 2 game-altering plays to an edge just a week ago, and Danielle coming off a 2-sack game.
He surrendered a game-altering play.
Well, he surrendered 1. He almost gave up 2, and we will talk about that in a second. The second one, because I think folks are forgetting about it. And then you have Hunter coming off of a 2-sack game with the fumble force. Hey, man, that's the game. Protect the quarterback, win the game. That's on you, Walker. Like, that's it. That's my X factor.
That's a good take. I like that. You're living in the trenches. This with the X factors. I like it, dog. Okay.
That's just what they're showing me, man. Hey. So we got to make CJ see ghosts, but on the other side of that line. Well, what do they have to do? They have to keep Trevor Lawrence clean, because as I just talked about, what happens when Trevor Lawrence is not clean? He throws interceptions in the touchdown because he got hit by Trey Hendrickson, or he nearly has a fumble that goes back the other way for a touchdown because they didn't blow the whistle at the time that the fumble was forced. No one really knew if it was actually a live ball or not, and that would have also changed the game. So, like, we've seen what happens when they are not protecting Trevor Lawrence, because for the most part, the Jacksonville Jaguars O-line has done extremely well at keeping him clean. I want to be clear in saying that. Just on those few occasions that they don't, very bad things have happened. And I don't want to include Anton Harrison in this conversation, because I want to be also clear that he's played very well this season, and he's also played extremely well versus the Texans' Will Anderson. Like, he has historically, it's actually been at this point, is something that people have now written long form articles about, because he's actually just been really solid at playing him. But Walker Little, like we just talked about, that was nearly 2 game-changing turnovers on Sunday to Trey Hendrickson. And if you forgot that, don't worry, Pepperidge Farm remembers. And I guarantee you that the Texans do too. And they have this game tape in front and center this week on that whiteboard. Like, if you give up a play that can run back a touchdown, or you can give up a red zone interception, that changes the entire scope of the game. And that's a 14 to maybe even 21 point swing at that point, depending on what happens on the offensive side of the ball. So, like, he's coming back in town after having his own 2 his own 2 sacks and a fumble force. Yeah, I can see that being the Houston Texans saying, "Oh no, this is how we win the game." That dude. Circle that name on the whiteboard. And for the fantasy football community, don't be surprised if Brenton Strange or maybe the running backs have a few less routes this week, because they're going to be chipping. They're going to be helping out any way they can to kind of slow that pass rush down. I can absolutely see that right now.
Sounds more to me like you think one of your X factors is also Hines-Allen in protection, because when he were chipping Trey Hendrickson, it didn't matter. The few times they didn't, Trey Hendrickson made a difference.
Unfortunately, that is correct, sir. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm landing on this bad boy. Like, I think it's going to come down to how often we can get open with those 3 receivers in those three receivers out, trying to win against those guys who have an extra defender, because I do believe that religiously they're going to be having an extra back or an extra tight end and chipping against Hunter, and hopefully likely leaving Anton Harrison on an island by himself with with Will Anderson, and just kind of seeing where that goes.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping they put a tight end on and that he gets a pancake of like a Will Anderson or a Hunter. It'd be something I could put in the intro. Wouldn't that be strange?
Oh my gosh, you and these strange quotes.
Right, they're strange quotes. Woo!
But on our next key to the game is, man, hey, physicality's got to be up.
Yes.
The mistakes got to be down. And that's the big thing, because again, you're playing against this Houston Texans team, and they're going to be physical coming in. That's one thing no matter when you play them, especially in this D'Amico Ryan's defense, they're going to come in and try to lay the wood. They're going to come in and try to be more physical. And we've talked about this with the team going down to joint practices in Miami in the preseason, and they went down and got smacked in the face. I had the same conversation with Bucky Brooks when he was on a few weeks ago, and that was ever so often you come in and you're just not ready for how hard a team punches you. And it's like fighting Mike Tyson. Like, you come in with the plan and then you get punched and you're just like, oh, I just wasn't ready for that. And that's what happened to the Jaguars in preseason. The Miami Dolphins had been in two joint practices. The Jaguars thought that they weren't going to be going as physical as they were going. They were like, nah, this is what we're doing today. And the Jaguars got it right on Sunday and figured it out. This is how physical we have to be. That is the standard. I feel the same way about this. Like,
well, yeah, I feel like I got to step into your church here too, because I'm going to evoke a thought that's more associated with the defensive back part of the world, and that's having a short memory. And why the Jags need that in particular this week is, look how much you and I have focused on key particular individual plays from last Sunday, right? That game turned. If one play goes different, if the Jags make one fewer screw up, if there's one fewer unfortunate play, whether they control it or not, we have no fewer than 3 awful referee calls that fell the wrong way from the perspective of the Duval devout. And clearly, objectively, one of them, specifically the Travis Hunter alleged pass interception, you mean the actual pass defended, it is just so absolutely egregious. I'm up there with this person must hate Deion Sanders is what I'm saying. But the punchline's this. You got to forget it. You just need to run through a mofo's face, and you have to, it's not just giving maximum effort. It's an element of, you need to forget what's in the rear view. And remember, this is the Houston bleeding Texans, and you still have the opportunity to get a leg up and an advantage on the rest of your AFC South brethren.
I mean, I do agree with you in a lot of ways, but also, I mean, in reference to last week, penalties, drops, and in the words of a very famous anti-hero, maximum effort. You gotta. Jacksonville lost a winnable game against Cincinnati primarily due to mistakes, like 6 penalties for 55 yards, another 4 or 5 decline flags, multiple drops passes. We talked about the De'Ami Brown drop touchdown pass, the multiple Brian Thomas Jr. plays on Wednesday's Duval dive. Like, this is obviously got to be the week that they clean it up. Yes, all that is true and more, but it's absolutely time. It's time to move on to next week, time to move on to the next play, man. And that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars are currently. Like, you lost the game. All right, cool. Now what? You got beat for a touchdown? All right, cool. Now what? Whether it's BTJ having to abstain from the media, like, I hope that, I hope he's not listening to this podcast right now. Bro, I love the support. Listen to it on Sunday on repeat. Like, it's fine. Don't listen to the noise as prior teams did and have to get into a rut, needing to go to London or Africa to reset like Dave Chappelle. Like, it's AFC South play. Time to lock it in, do what's got to be done. Be the mentally strong and physically tough athlete that the staff is talking about being. Be the team you claim to want to be. And that means moving on, playing with focus, playing with discipline. Jacksonville is 1-0 in Duval. So today we push another mega campaign. Make Everbank great again.
Let's go!
Make it 2-0 Sunday. Duval. Come on, man.
Make Everbank great again. I oh my gosh. Mevga? No, we'll stick with Mega. That's oh my gosh. I like that.
Megwa.
Yeah, make EV. Like, anyways. And Mega would be terrible. Let's just stick with Mega. We're good. We're good.
I got you.
We
So
got
in reference to we got the Houston Texans this week, and they are 32nd in the NFL with 14 points per game scored. Jacksonville Jaguars are 7th with 26.5. The Texans are 25th in yards, passing yards per game, while the Jaguars are 16th. Rushing yards per game, the Texans are 20th at 99 yards, while the Jacksonville Jaguars are first, 169 yards, basically 170 yards per game. Yeah. The Houston Texans are 7th in defensive sacks, while the Jaguars are 19th. And in total defensive INTs, the Texans are tied for 24th, or you could say tied for 32nd because they got 0. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are first in the NFL with 5 INTs and first in the NFL with total turnovers at 6 also.
See, that sack stat is misleading, though, Travis D. Holmes, because I think at least 2 of those interceptions came on the strength of pressure.
I mean, it's not misleading at all. It's defense. This is what we get. So what happened. I don't care how you got it. You got the interception.
Yeah.
But the guys over the NFL Network, they put together their predictions, and 6 of the 10, I guess, analysts project that the Jacksonville Jaguars will win this one. So 60%, including Bucky Brooks and MJD. But I guess you have the highest scoring prediction is 28 points from Daniel Jeremiah, with the lowest scoring projection. Yeah, and the lowest scoring projection is 17 points from a few people, including Marcus Grant. So where do you land on your predictions, sir?
Well, I'm going to come out right the gate. And by the way, I appreciate that you're buying time to stall for yourself. I'm not mad at you. I think Daniel Jeremiah is completely off his rocker trying to tell me that these teams will score 55 total points. You are out of your entire mind, sir. I think
so. Daniel Jeremiah has it at 28-27 for our audio listeners, just FYI.
Yeah, he's got the Jags sneaking by, probably on the strength of Cam Little, because actually no, he's got 28 points, so he's saying Cam Little's not a factor. Daniel Jeremiah, put the pipe down. Good God, man. Anyways, so shouts to Daniel Jeremiah. Anyways, no, but for me, like, and I think what we have a 46 total with Shook with 26-20 in favor of the Texans. I can't get with that. I do think 37, which we see more than one place. What is it? Gordon, Adam Rank, both have the Jags winning 2017. Grant has 2017 in favor of the Texans. That's too low. Gonna put it at around mid to low 40s, right? So I think a 23-20 makes sense. We see that some places there too. Bucky Brooks coming in with 21-20. I think that's the neighborhood. But at the end of the day, give me 24-20 Jags as they do their best for Mega 2025, make Everbank great again.
Nice.
Travis.
Okay. Well, so Kyle predicts that the Jacksonville Jaguars will win by 4 at home, which I believe would cover the spread, if I'm not mistaken. And I predict that the Jacksonville Jaguars will also cover the spread, but I'm having them cover it by 10 points. So I'm saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win 27 to the Houston Texans 17. That is my prediction, is that the Jaguars get it right. They figure it out.
Your gap
and
is
win
big,
by 10 points.
But you got that mid 40s total points, so I can't get complete.
Yeah, I'm still at 44 total points. Like, I don't know what the over under is at this exact moment.
Right.
I would need to check that on
FanDuel probably. But the punchline being, I what I'm also hearing in your prediction inadvertently, or maybe blatant as hell, I don't know, you tell me, you expect CJ Stroud to make some to commit some turnovers in this game.
I expect CJ Stroud to struggle massively in this game. I also expect his offensive line to struggle massively.
Over or under 2.5 turnovers for CJ Stroud.
2.5? I mean, I'm going under. I'll go with 2 turnovers, and I will do that without blanking. But more than that, yeah, I think he's going to have. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will end up having 3 sacks. I think the Houston Texans will end up having 2 turnovers. I think the Jaguars passing game was actually going to figure it out, and I don't even necessarily know if it's going to be directly through Brian Thomas Jr. Rather, it's just the combined effort of all of those guys. I think Derek Stingley is a dog in that secondary, sure, but I think the combination of De'Ami Brown, the combination of Travis Hunter, the combination of Parker Washington Jr. as your third guys, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars can win there versus Jalen Petrie, can win there against the other guys, basically, if that makes any sense. So I think that's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers may have struggled a little bit because they didn't have Godwin playing in that Monday night affair. But the Jacksonville Jaguars might have a little bit of a leg up on those secondary, and third matchups of the receiver core versus the secondary. So that's why I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, and as soon as they pull away and the Houston Texans have to pass the ball, they don't have a choice, but they can't even lead on that run game. It's going to get out of hand. And that's kind of how I think it's going to be.
Brenton Strange scores his first touchdown of 2025 in this football game.
All right. I wonder what the FanDuel odds of that one are. Because I know we missed out on the Hunter Long plus 4,500 first touchdown scoring on the Carolina Panthers game. I would love not to miss out on this one. Yeah, but shout out to Betting with Behrman.
Yeah, shout out to Dave Behrman for sure. No, I have Brenton Strange making a difference here in this game for sure. In at least 2 dimensions with the run and pass game myself. So yeah, I think that's where we sit on the predictions. I think we've checked all the boxes. We've done all the things. I know for those listening to the pod, make sure you go on the video and check out my dude's Duval dive hoodie, by the way. Merch in the comments, ? Anyways, Travis D. Holmes, tell the world where you could be found.
Well, you can find my writing covering the Jacksonville Jaguars on BigCatCountry.com. You can find me on all the socials, Travis D. Holmes. And if you are listening to the sound of my voice again, it helps us tremendously. Just click that like button, write a quick comment, just say hi. Don't mind it. I appreciate it. But wherever you're getting this Duval Dive pod, like and subscribe. Rate and review us. It helps us with the algorithm tremendously. Just take that quick second for us, and save Big Cat Country as your favorites, man. And let's get this Jacksonville Jaguars coverage from the people on the ground, the local media, etc. Where can you be found, sir?
Make sure remember it's free for you to click a button, but it keeps us around, and that's a good thing. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on X. I don't call it X. I'm a family man. We find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings for your Jacksonville Jaguars on Fans First Sports Network, as well as the Orlando Magic. Also, my work covering the UCF Knights football and basketball at the Black and Gold Banneret and Night Shift podcast, and my work with the Bolt Blitz Uncut with Booga Peters and Buck D doing the thing there. I know it's a Charger podcast. I know you don't care yet, but hey, the Jags do play them at some point. So if you want some insight on the enemy there or the upcoming enemy, make sure you check that out. And hey, if you want to remind the people who are hosting that show of that certain playoff game, I would certainly get a laugh in the booth as the producer. So we'll leave all that at that. So in the meantime, shouts to you're making a face, Travis. I don't know how to respond to that.
I'm good.
So the visions of your trolling on that show in the future have come in my head. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, in the meantime, for all you Duval divers out there and the members of the Duval Devout that take us in, thank you very much. For my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, is Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.